Okay, how you doing out there, guys? It's a Sunday and I'm at the shop here, and I had a couple here. Their name is Earl and Ava Riley from Daytona, Idaho. They wrote in on the East Coast, is where they're from, and they wrote in, we are build, so I guess they mean building a 60s style pickup. Now I don't know if they mean in the 60s or building it to be like from the 60s. We're running a 5-inch dropped axle with parallel leaf springs in the front and leaf springs in the rear. Our question is, what kind of ride and handling can we expect? Where can we buy panels and a tailgate to make up the truck bed in the States? Excuse me, guys. And what would be a good Ford rear end, and what size gear to run with a 350 motor and a 350 automatic transmission? And they wrote we can contact them, and they said they love the videos. So, well, we're not here to knock anybody. I don't know exactly, like, is the truck in the 60s? Is it not? I'm assuming it's earlier because they say they were running a dropped axle and leaf springs in the front. And they're asking me about what kind of rear end to run and what gear ratio. Well, that depends on what they're trying to do. Are they looking for good highway mileage? Are they looking for off the line? Are they looking to race this thing? So, let's give them a call. Let's give them a call and see what happens here. Okay. Let's see if we can get hold of them here. Nobody answering yet. For all I know, it could be a hoax and a wrong number. Okay. I'm looking for Earl or Ava Riley. This is Rick from Old Time. Hello.
Yes.
Is this Ava?
Yes, it is.
This is Rick at Old Time Garage.
How are you doing, guy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm fighting ovarian cancer, but besides that, I'm doing good.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. You'll be.
Well,
You'll be.
I'm handling it well. I've already, had my surgery, everything.
Yeah.
And, my husband wants to go into business farm stuff, and it's time to put it on the back burner.
Wow.
It's a full-time garage.
This is old.
Wants to talk to you. There he is.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, Earl?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Okay.
So I see you wrote in a question here to me.
Right.
And you're asking me, you're building a 60s style pickup. Now I don't know. Am I correct by saying you're building it to look like it's from the 60s, or are you building something in the 60s?
No, I want it to look like it was built in the early 60s.
Okay, so your question. Okay, so you're asking me here about leaf springs. Well, on one of my videos, if you saw, I've got a '49 Ford pickup, and it's on leaf springs all the way around because it's all stock suspension, just lowered.
Right.
With an axle. And if you ask me how the ride is, I mean, depending on the roads and that, it rides really nice, but, when you got the straight axle in the front, if you happen to hit a pothole or something on one side with the front wheel, obviously the other side comes up and one side goes down. So, I mean, it's nowhere near smooth riding as control arms with ball joints, but I mean, it's still fine. I mean, I drive that truck all over the place, and it's just fine. It's going to ride like a truck should ride, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to ride choppy or hard to handle, because a couple guys said it's going to be kind of hard to handle.
Well,
I didn't know whether that's the way the frame comes. It's a 28. What I have, I'm making a 28 Dodge pickup, and I have it was given to me a 28 Dodge Brothers frame, and it's got that straight axle up underneath it. It's got about a 5-inch drop axle up underneath of it.
yes.
I didn't know whether it'd be better to leave it alone like it, run parallel leaf all the way around, or maybe cut that cross member out and change it and just go with one, and run it parallel with the center cross, the cross member there. What do they call it, monoleaf or whatever, just one?
Oh, monoleaf. Yes, I know what you're saying now. I know what you're saying. Yeah, rather than the leaf springs on either side is what you're saying.
Right. Would that have a better ride?
You know, honestly, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you know, like, I mean, I don't. If these guys are saying it rides choppy, I don't know what the roads are like out there. But I mean, like I say, I mean, I drive my Ford around all over the place. I've gone down to Tacoma with it and down to Oregon with it from up here, and I mean, it rides absolutely fine. I mean, I go down the freeway doing 100 all day long, and you know, and I'm talking miles an hour, not kilometers. So, you know, and I mean, I don't find it. The only time it's a choppy riding vehicle is when you're on a really rough road. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Another question is too. I wanted to kind of maybe run. What do you think as far as the brake setup and stuff like that on that Dodge? Would you stay with all Ford?
All Ford? Because I take it it's Ford bolt pattern in the front, right? Well, Dodge and Ford are both the same bolt pattern.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I would just keep it the Ford. I'd put a Ford 9-inch in the back and away you go. Or you could even run a Ford 8-inch. You'll never, I mean, unless you plan on going out there and doing smoke shows and being hard on this thing, you'll never break an 8-inch either. It'll hold up just fine.
Right. What kind of gear ratio? I was talking to another friend of my coworker. He said about 355. If I was going to run like a 350, 350. What do you think as far as gear ratio?
That would be a perfect all-round gear. I would go anywhere from a 350 up to a 370 for that with a turbo 350. If you were going to go like the 700R with the overdrive, then you could go up to like a 411 or something because you'd have the extra overdrive gear for on the highway. But yeah, 350 or 355s, that would be absolutely perfect. I've actually got two cars here. I've got a 55 Chev of my own, which was in one of my videos, and a 52 Chev, and I'm running 355s in both of those, and it's a beautiful gear ratio. They're not bad on gas. It's perfect. Now my Ford pickup, that's running a 389 in the back. I've got a 9-inch in there out of an early Bronco because it's a narrow rear end, and I've got a 389 gear system in the back of that, and I mean, it's okay on the highway. You know, you know, when you get up to when you get up to higher speeds, it's starting to rev out a bit, you know, because I've only got a turbo 350 also.
Right.
So I think you'd be perfect of a 355. That's a good all-round gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this too. You said, how long have you been in business? You said about 10 years.
Well, I've been doing this stuff since I was young, but 12 years ago, actually, 12 years ago, I left mechanicking because I had been doing this at nighttime, building cars for people. So then 12 years ago, I left the shop. I gave notice and said I'm out of here because I like old cars. That's what I like and love. And I had built up such a clientele at nighttime that I was able just to turn it around, give my notice, and I told everyone that was coming at night, it's now Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And that was going on 12 years ago now, and I don't advertise or nothing. I run an ad on Craigslist, and that's about it. I would say 75% of my work is word of mouth.
Okay.
And I just started doing YouTube for the hell of it.
Right. Well, see, I've been doing it for about 36 years. I started doing restoration work, and I got over into the collision part of it because there was more money. And since about 2008, I've got back into it, and I decided now to put up a nice garage, and I want to kind of spend the rest of my years working for myself.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, you said that you bill by the hour also.
Yes, I do.
Now, and I guess from the way you said about that, you're pretty firm on that. I was just kind of pick your brain a little bit. Is that the way that I should start out? Just go by the hour? I
would, because you have to remember everything that you and I are doing is custom work. All these cars that come to us are custom work. So if you look at a job and you say, yeah, I want $500 for it, and then you know, if you keep track of your hours, at the end of the day, you could be into that thing for, oh God, what if you're into it for 30 or 40 hours? You were working for peanuts, right?
Right.
I mean, I get guys all the time want me to give them estimates, and I've done it for so long now that I can give them a rough idea, but I never give them exact. If I look at a job, I'll tell somebody, I'll say, look, it could be as low as $4,000, but it could get up to $6,000, and I always leave, you know, I leave that lots of room there to play with, right?
Right.
You know, but I mean, I can't give estimates. I say it all day long. You just can't. I give a rough idea, but it's got to go by the hour. I mean, when I was working before at my job, and I started doing cars at nighttime for people, when I first started doing cars at nighttime for people, I would just look at the job and say, yeah, I'll do it for $600, and I'd keep track of it. And some days I was making, you know, $20, $30 an hour, but there was other days I was making like $5 an hour. So then, you know, eventually I just said, well, I can't do it that way. It's got to be by the hour. And it's gone over well, and my rates are really, really cheap too. That's why I'm so busy, because I don't have the overhead, because my business is at home. I'm in an area where it's zoned where I can have a business at home, so my overhead isn't too bad here.
Right.
So my rates are low. Like, you know, most restoration shops are 90 to 110 bucks an hour, right?
Right, right.
You know, and
how's your economy up there?
It's good. It's good. It's okay. It's not the greatest. There's always going to be, you know what, people are always going to want cars fixed. There's always going to be a need for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
No, it's gotten. If anything, it's gotten, you know, better these days for the cars, right? All the baby boomers are looking to have their cars built, and you know the younger generation is getting into it now also.
Right. You think you do pretty good on Craigslist?
I put an ad on Craigslist. I don't get a lot of phone calls off it. I just put it out there, just, I don't know why, just for the sake of it. You know, I'm the type of guy that always worries, what if one day I have no more work? Because it's word of mouth.
Right.
So I run an ad on Craigslist. I mean, I get maybe one phone call a month off of Craigslist, because there's so many guys on Craigslist advertising.
Right.
But I've got a lot of shops that I've bought parts off over the years, and you know, they're shops that specialize in old car parts and that. Like, one of them is the Old Car Center up here in Langley, a great group of guys, and I've been buying stuff there forever. So they recommend me highly to a lot of customers, and a recommendation from them is like gold. So it goes a long ways, that too, right? You know, and all my parts stores up here, they see the work I do, so they recommend me.
Right. One more question. I also have a 35 DeSoto Airstream.
Oh, nice.
How would I go about it? The tag on the firewall said it gives a job number. It's like number 46 or 48. And the way that's reading is, I'm taking it there was only 486 of them built in 1935.
Ooh.
How can I confirm that?
That I'm not too sure on. I couldn't help you there. I wish I could. I'm sure there's got to be something you can Google up on the computer, or someone to get hold of.
Well, we've been trying just about everybody. Who are we waiting on? Is that Patterson? Peterson? Not Peterson, but Chrysler Museum, who we're waiting on. They haven't got back with us yet.
Okay.
So I didn't know how I could go about.
Have you ever heard of a site called the Ham, the Jalopy Journal?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about posting that question up there? Because there's a good group of guys, and I'm sure somebody on there must know what you would do.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
I would try that. I bet you if you posted that up there, you'd have answers within a couple hours.
Okay. One more question, and I'll leave you alone.
Sure.
You was working on. Was this beds that you was working on that one truck? Is those universal? I mean, what could I do to maybe buy a bed kit or something for this truck? I mean, I know it's going to depend on the length and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you could always cut them down, can't you?
You can. You could just even make a bed yourself if you're capable of it. I mean, you could get some flat sheet metal. Go to your metal store, even if you don't have a metal brake. You could bend it. You know how you do that, like that 45-degree angle on the top. You could have it bent, and you could get a piece of round pipe and weld it on there, and away you go. There's your sides made. And tailgate. Well, God, just pick up any tailgate at an automotive swap meet.
Right.
You know, or now the sides he bought, they were universal for Chevy pickup. They had to be cut down for like height, not for length.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew any place where I could, you know, get that, and that way I could cut the length or whatever I needed. I can make one. I mean, there's no problem about that.
Yeah.
I was just concerned about, you know, the tailgate part of it, you know.
Yeah. I'm not too sure what's available out there where you are located. I'm more familiar in my area, so.
Right. Right. You know, I don't understand how you work full time, and what's the other guy I see on there all the time? What's his name?
Dave.
Dave.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Dave works part-time. How do you guys get all that work done? I mean, it's unbelievable how fast you guys get that stuff done. From what I'm seeing, I mean, it's dead on.
The work is good. You know what? I mean, it's just hang on one sec here. Just hang on. Just hang on one sec.